This episode is sponsored by Off the Beaten Path. Use code FEY10, that's FEY10, at checkout to get 10% off all of your music commissions. Thank you so much, Off the Beaten Path. Now please enjoy the episode. Hello everyone, and welcome to Feyfinders, a Dungeons & Dragons podcast navigating listeners into the vague and supernatural. My name is Sam, and I will be your Dungeon Master for Campaign Elements, and playing with me is the captivating Caitlin.
Hello everyone.
The amazing Amancio.
Hello.
And the jubilant Jupiter.
Hi.
Now let us try to restore the elements. Last episode, Luna, Benny, and Anu returned to Ivriel in the hopes of rescuing Brine from whatever Matron Corella had in store. The party was met with an eerie quiet as they approached the treetop town, but after ascending the rope ladder closest to the council hut chamber, they encountered a group of guards who tried unsuccessfully just to thwart their rescue mission. Luna, Benny, and Anu made their way to the throne room, where Corella and Nord were waiting for them. Corella ordered the party to leave her domain or risk her retaliation of invading Philoven. At that, the party engaged in combat with the matron and her husband, until delivering a killing blow, effectively committing regicide. The party discovered Brine tied to a chair in the council chamber. They were able to leave the treetop town without further hindrance. As the party and Brine rode away from the town, Luna, Benny, and Anu informed Brine of the death of the matron. Brine insisted they return to ensure the people of Ivriel didn't go leaderless after all the recent turmoil. Luna, Benny, and Anu then supported Brine in taking up the mantle as matron and effectively installing a military regime to govern Ivriel. After a long rest, Brine insisted Lotus ferry the party to the border of Lilivel, the Domain of Fire. We open with Luna, Benny, and Anu on Lotus's boat, rowing west. The water is calm, but you can discern that the water level has indeed begun to lower. You can see evidence of this on the shore appearing in front of you, as there is about 5 feet of damp sand exposed where the water level had once been high. Lotus looks distressed as they approach the border, but continues to remain silent and gives you all a side-eyed look of fear and rage.
So, whereabouts is safe for us to disembark?
Lotus just kind of looks at you, glares a little bit and scrunches their nose up, and just turns back to rowing.
Not quite there yet, then.
You know what, you can just say the word when you want one of us to take over the rowing from you. It's really not a hassle.
You see Lotus kind of almost like start rowing a little bit faster and like shaking off their shoulders like, I will do this by myself. You all are invaders and I want you off my boat as fast as possible, but just like is not saying anything to you guys.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Right, point taken.
So after a long and awkwardly silent paddle west, you eventually start to see, off far in the distance, a shore of land of an expansive, endless sand. It looks barren and stiflingly hot despite the cool air on the water. As you approach the border, the air begins to feel overwhelming as the heat burns into your lungs. The temperature is about 45 degrees Celsius, 113 in Fahrenheit. Lotus docks, only long enough to allow you all to exit the boat before speeding away back into the open water. The warmth of the sand as you walk onto the shore is seeping into your feet through your boots, and it feels like your feet are slowly starting to melt. The climate is excruciating. You begin to walk inland as the sun is bearing down on you. You feel like all the water in your body is evaporating with every step. There is nothing as far as the eye can see but sand and sun. There is nary a hint of cloud in the sky to offer even the smallest of reprieves from the heat.
I never thought I would actually ever say this, but it is too hot.
I think this might be the first time I've said this on our trip. I miss Philoven.
You know, I get a little homesick too sometimes. It's okay. I find it helps just to not think about your loved ones or the people you care about or anything that's mattered to you ever in the only home that you've ever known. You know, it's really helpful. It really lifts my spirits because I find if I do think about those things, then I miss them a whole lot. Does anyone else think it's like a little warm? I wasn't really listening earlier, but it's like I'm sweating and I do a lot of digging all day every day, and I'm out here, you know, wetter than I was underwater.
I'm hoping for a snowbank at this point.
Yeah, even I'd be okay with some snow right now.
So it is beginning to become around midday as you're still walking through this landscape. It is entirely excruciating. It feels as though all of the water, like you are just evaporating. Even the sweat that is coming down your faces is just turning into salt on your brow. It is just stifling. You walk until you feel like you are going to collapse from dehydration, and just then you start to hear something over the dunes. And you can start to discern that it is a rowdy sort of laughter coming over left side of you over quite a large sand dune. You start to smell an interesting aroma in the air. It sort of smells like some kind of unknown meat.
Oh God, I think someone's cooking over there. I think they're just roasting in the sun. They must have not been able to take anymore. I think they're burning alive.
Luna looks over like, with that, maybe it's they're cooking food.
Look around you. There's nothing but sand here.
Benny gets a panicked look on her face and like glances between Luna and Anu, unsure who she should side with. People, unknown meat. People, unknown meat.
I mean, people could be unknown meat.
Exactly, that's what Anu's saying.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I guess.
I'm about to change my entire
Oh God!
plot.
No! What have we done? Why don't we Why don't we head that direction?
We
and
gotta go.
see?
We gotta go help them. If they're cooking alive, is there any water left in my water skin at this point, DM?
Probably not.
We probably drank anything we had.
Yeah. Come on! I start scrambling up the dune to try to save this person who's cooking on the other side.
Luna follows behind.
Oh my god. So you all scramble on your hands and knees up this dune. Sand is flying everywhere in cascades in the stagnant air. It is flying, and you feel like it's being stuck to your hands and all over your clothing. It feels very uncomfortable as you're just sort of like clawing your way up this dune. And as you get over the dune, you find that there is a small campsite. You see that there are 4 people there. A dwarf male who is completely shaven of all hair, fixing up some canvas tents. A Yuan-ti grilling something reptilian-looking over hot coals. A red dragonborn female cleaning up a freshly slain gazelle. And a gray half-orc female sharpening her sickle with a whetstone. They are all wearing tightly fitted animal skin shirts and flowing cotton white pants.
As soon as we get over the top, I'm like, I told you it was food.
I'm just saying, we don't know. Someone could have been cooking alive. It's probably in our best interest to hurry anyways. Besides, you folk down there, you don't happen to have any water on you, do you?
All of them sort of stop what they're doing and look up at you guys, and one of them says, "You look like... the 3 of you look worse than 3-day-old gazelle jerky. Here, have some water and a prickly pear, it'll perk you right up."
I mean, I prefer my jerky older. It's drier, saltier. Like my skin right now.
I would concur with you.
Prickly pear. What is that?
It is sort of a fruit,
Oh.
and the prickly part is actually not so prickly. It's kind of fuzzy, actually.
Oh, fascinating. Benny kind of sits down and toboggans herself down the other side of the dune to get closer.
As you're going down, you just see a spray of sand dust just kind of go on either side of you and just kind of rain down along the ground as you go.
Anu's right behind her. We're from Phylevin, so there's no food back home. Or fruit, especially fruit. No fruit back home.
That's pretty sad.
I mean, it's in existence. It's a lovely little village. You folks, the village, is it around here, or have you been out here a while?
Oh no, we are a nomadic people. The desert is too unforgiving and too unyielding with resources, and during the days of light and heat, we must venture, and if we must find each other during the 8 months of the year where we're off scattered across this country, we just use the messenger vultures.
What happens the other 4 months of the year?
Well, that's actually what we're doing right now, is we're all heading back to our gathering campsite. It's the base during the great time of heat, and yeah. Lilibel is a temperamental mistress. She will kill you if you don't know how to go about the run of the land.
That would be kind of us right now. Curiosity's sake, did you happen to have an earthquake near here, recently?
Not that I would be aware of.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
It wouldn't be around this area anyways. We're far too close to the border.
Oh, no, I was just asking about seismic activity. It's a common occurrence for us in our journey.
Well, my name is Copper, says the dwarf, and he kind of puts out his hand really, like, aggressively ready for you to shake it.
Benny enthusiastically meets his hand halfway. Hi, I'm Benny.
And Copper just, like, shakes your hand really firm and really aggressive for, like, 3 shakes, and then lets go and is like, I like your spunk.
Thank you. I like your name.
And she like looks awkwardly like, what kind of compliment was that, you weirdo? Like,
Thank you, my mother gave it to me.
I'm Luna. And I hold my hand out.
And Copper just does the same thing, like, but winds it up a little bit, like, arm out to the side, and then whacks it straight into your hand and does big 3 shakes.
My whole body kind of, like, goes with my hand as he shakes it.
And, I'm Anu. Lovely to meet you, Copper. And Anu extends his hand for a shake and does one single shake.
Oh, Copper's, like, holding on, so you're, like, wriggling your hand out of Copper's
While
grip.
he's trying to still shake my hand.
Yeah.
And the rest of you? Your names?
You see the Yanti, who's still just, like, flipping over these kebabs of what you actually can tell are scorpions, now that you're closer to them. And the Yanti just kind of, like, nods. I'm Raze. And the half-orc, who's still just, like, you know, going about, like, inspecting her sword, she says, I'm Soul. And you see the Dragonborn, who's still, sort of, like, wiping her hands off, on a dirty cloth, sort of, like, smiles broadly at you and says, my name is Ember.
Pleasure to meet you all. And genuinely, we found you just in time. I was getting mighty thirsty.
Benny will hold up the little prickly pear.
Thanks for this. But what do I do with it? Can I eat the outside?
She like stares at it like hesitantly, like, do you bite this? What do I do?
Raze kind of looks at you, like, with a weird, like, questioning look. Yes, you do eat the outside. You just bite it.
Benny holds it up to her face and just like,
Sorry, this is really good. You guys should try some.
Benny holds out her prickly pear towards Luna and Anu.
I think I'll take my own, if more are being offered.
Oh yeah, there's a whole basket.
Lovely. Sorry, excuse me.
Right.
Benny will go back to eating hers.
I grab one out of the basket.
You know, you are all welcome to come with us tomorrow when we leave. It is only about a day's walk more now, and we will leave a few hours before sunrise. If you wish to camp with us and go to our gathering village.
That would be fantastic if you would guide us there.
That's so kind.
Oh, no problem. If we didn't, you'd be stuck out here and food for the vultures. They still have to eat even though they do our messaging for us.
Right,
Yeah,
well,
I'd rather not be vulture food.
nice to know we wouldn't go to waste.
It's true. Nothing goes to waste in the desert. There's too far and few between. Now, come and sit and eat some scorpion with us. We also have some wolf berries, if you've probably never tried those either.
Benny looks like a child in a candy shop. Like, her eyes are so big. Like, the idea of new food is so exciting to her at this point. She'll like toddle over next to where Raze is cooking the scorpion and just kind of like squat down next to her. Wow.
You like scorpion?
I've never had the pleasure, but I find the idea fascinating.
This one is ready if you want to take a bite.
I would love that please.
I will show you how to do it, because it seems you are questioning about food consumption tactics.
It's just very different than anything I've ever eaten.
She kind of nods with you. She kind of nods at you regarding, and just like goes for it and takes a big bite out of one of the claws and just is like chewing it with gusto and swallows and then hands the rest of the skewer to you.
Benny follows suit, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, so to speak, just munches down on it and chewing. It just came off the fire, so it's slightly hot, so she's kind of sucking in air through her teeth as she chews a little bit, like that. Ooh.
This is nice. I've never had something like this, quite like this before. Oh.
You have to pair it with the wolf berries.
Oh.
And you see Soul just kind of like have a little smirky grin on her face as she's like looking at her companions. Try the wolf berries.
Okay. Just like bite for bite at the same time, or
she's like eagerly holding one berry in her hand and the skewer in the other.
No, just try one wolf berry. See how you go.
Okay.
And Benny places it on her tongue and then uses her tongue to push it into the roof of her mouth.
And it just explodes with the most sour, bitter flavor that your mouth literally does the like lemon squeeze, and it just is like so tart.
So the way I envision this happening to Benny, she presses her tongue, because she's unsure, presses her tongue against the berry. The second the sour hits, she like, you visually watch all of her like sink in towards itself. Like it is that kind of like pinched mouth feeling when you eat something tart, but her whole body does it. Her arms go in, the skewer gets closer to her, and she becomes very, very small in that space.
Oh,
They're all laughing at you.
is this supposed to taste like this?
You get used to it.
Her eyes are like watering at this point. She's never eaten anything sour before other than the occasional like fermented or pickled foods. So this is a whole new world for her.
Luna's just staring and just goes, "That looked incredibly unpleasant."
And then you see that Soul just walks up and takes like a whole handful of these berries and just like all at once plops them in her mouth, and she just looks at you guys and just chews them slowly and eventually swallows and just smiles at you guys.
Benny, skewer in hand, claps.
Ani stares Soul down, walks up to the bin beside her, like looks her in the eyes, takes a whole handful, shoves them in his mouth, and eats them.
No problem.
You have that extreme, like you just ate like all of the lemons, or like the Warhead candies, where it was like instant like sour, just everything just like puckers, and it's just your face goes into this like uncontrollable contorted feature, but you eat through it and you eat them all, and Soul actually looks at you and looks pretty impressed.
I don't say anything. I'm like, I just keep staring.
You can have an extra scorpion for that.
Thanks, I gladly accept.
Can I have one?
Go for it.
Luna picks up the scorpion and like nibbles on one of the legs. like cautiously.
So you all sit down to eat. Everyone, like, all of these Lillovellians are just, like, chomping off the heads of the scorpions, just, like, eating them full, with, like, no, reprehension or tentativeness, just, like, going for it. And as you are all eating and popping those sour berries, you hear Ember kind of pop up. So, what brings you all to the desert? Why are you journeying? What prompted your journey here?
Luna kind of like freezes a little bit and like looks over at Anu and Benny after like the experience we just had and is like, should we, like, with my eyes is like, should we say anything?
Benny, feeling slightly confident regarding the question she had asked earlier, she was like,
We've been tracking odd seismic activity through a couple different nations now, and seeing the ramifications it's had on the local regions. It's been fascinating.
Yeah, odd seismic activity. It's, you know, we had it back in Philoven. They've had it everywhere else. It's happening everywhere. It's really out of control, and someone's got to take a look at it. So we've been going underground a lot of the time. Any new holes open up?
That'll be something to probably ask the matron. She usually stays relatively close to our gathering camp, so you can talk with her tomorrow. Sounds interesting, though. And I would like a deception with advantage, please, for your tectonic plate inquiries.
natural 20.
Hell yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
For a total of 21.
Yeah.
Oh, and
God
you
for that
still have
natural
your
20.
crown. You still have your crown on.
Oh, that's right. So that's plus 3, so then it'll be 24 in total.
Nice.
They're like, that's so interesting. What prompted you to think of tectonic plate activity as something to study? That's so intriguing.
To be honest, it was the effect that it had on Philoven. It ripped open a cavern where we could see old artwork about the times before the elements left, and historically and geologically, it was just so fascinating. We had to know if it was elsewhere too.
Quite an interesting quest you've got there. And they all kind of look at each other like, wow, we've never even thought of tectonic plates. What even are tectonic plates?
Do they ask that out loud, or is that just like the look they get?
Yeah, you know what? Rise is gonna be like, what are tectonic plates?
Benny finishes the last mouthful of skewer and then pushes herself back so she's got like empty sand in front of her. And then she draws.
So this is Concordia as a whole, and we're from up here, and you guys are currently kind of over here.
And she's using her scorpion skewer to like dig into the sand to make a little map. And she's like, and then across different parts of the land, she draws big jaggedy lines, is where it kind of forms together underneath the earth, like the soil and the dirt.
Probably don't feel much other than just sand here. That's true, actually. We don't really feel much other than sand. You get some quicksand, but other than that, there's not a lot of movement.
Yeah, the sand kind of gets everywhere.
You guys ever heard of rivers?
What's a river?
Well, it's running water.
Water doesn't run.
Well, where we're from, it does.
That's so interesting. How does it run? Does it create its own little feet? And then just stand up and there's just a pool of water with feet just running through your village?
It runs more like a snake because it doesn't have feet, and neither do snakes. So it sort of winds back and forth, and it starts from somewhere high up. You just say the ice on a mountain, and then that ice melts, or the clouds rain as they break over the mountain. And that water, it all runs down the mountain, and it carves a path through the earth out to the ocean. But there's no mountains here, and certainly no rivers. I was going to say that the rivers will freeze over in cold environments, and then the ice can break, and then you have different pieces of ice that are kind of sliding around over top of the surface of the water. And I was going to say, imagine being an ant on one of those pieces of ice. It's kind of like tectonic plates.
You all are so fascinating.
Thank you. I think the same thing about you guys.
They all kind of look at each other and chuckle really loudly. So, after you all finish your scorpions and wolfberries, you notice that the sky has quickly and very abruptly started to shift into a nighttime sky. The sun is starting to set, and it is going towards the horizon, and the stars are starting to come out and illuminate. The sky is a very, very deep navy blue, but it looks beautiful, and the stars sort of like twinkle along the sand as it's dotted with little specks of like glass, as sand and compression and heat sort of make glass. It looks like little stars are being reflected in the sand with the sky. And as the sun is starting to set, they all start preparing for bed and say, "It's about that time now." And Copper walks up to you, Luna, and says, "Here's a candle. Keep this going all night while you sleep, lest the ghost leopards come to get you." And he sort of chuckles.
Can I roll an insight check to see if there's such thing as ghost leopards?
Ghost leopards?
Yeah, absolutely.
They're pulling an aquatic owlbear on us.
It's 11.
11? Yeah. You're like, oh no, the ghost leopards? Oh no, the ghost leopards. Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna stick my staff in the sand and cast light on the end of it.
Nice. And you hear Copper say, "Well, that's not gonna help. It has to be fire."
It has to be fire?
Has to be fire.
Anu starts digging through his pack for torches.
And you hear Ember say, "You know, they aren't just fairy tale monsters. The ghosts, leopards, those are phantom beasts of the night. They will feast on fear and lurk about through the dunes."
If that's the fairy's tale, I'd hate to see what its teeth look like.
Yeah, honestly, we've seen some stuff that probably shouldn't exist, really. And I look at Anu about like the owlbear. So we're just gonna err on the side of caution and be safe. Yeah, I don't want to get eaten.
That's the least of your problems if you're worried about them eating you.
It's okay. If they're ghosts, I can detect undead. I can turn the dead. I can keep them away from here. It's distressing to hear that they're ghosts. Their spirits must not be at rest. There has to be something we can do about this.
They're not real ghosts.
You're not making this any better.
Don't worry, as long as you keep your candle lit, you should be fine.
Right, yeah.
All right, we rotate. We keep watch. We make sure the candle doesn't go out.
Have a wonderful sleep. And you see all of them just start to kind of go into their tents. During the time that you guys were all sort of like eating and working, and people, you know, like, they were already setting up all their tents. They made one for you, and this canvas tent has a smooth wooden mat to lay down on, and it looks like it's made out of long shavings of very dry sticks. It's a very modest tent, but it looks like it will keep out sort of the more unsavory things of the night. You also distinctly notice that there is no breeze. The air is incredibly stagnant and just, like, feels very claustrophobic and compressing.
I'll take first watch, if that helps.
Does the tent have kind of like a door or a flap on it?
Yeah, it does have the 2 flaps that make up the entrance to the tent.
So Benny would lay towards the entrance, and then thaumaturgy, the flaps open and the flaps shut, and the flaps open and the flaps shut, trying to get a breeze in the space.
Careful, careful, you're gonna blow out the candle.
Yeah, don't do that.
But it's so hot to sleep. I have firebolt. If anything comes from us, I'm just gonna throw fire at it.
Sure. But they said that if we kept the candle lit, it would just keep them away. Then we don't have to worry about doing anything.
Oh, okay.
Benny's like reluctant and sad to give up her tiny bit of a breeze, but she moves over to the side of the tent and lays back down.
All right, so we're doing alternating watches. Amancio Anu's gonna go first, and then who's gonna go second?
I can take second watch.
All right. So the night wanes on. Amancio, roll a d10.
Oh boy, all right. That's a 2.
Okay. Your watch goes uneventfully. You switch off with Luna. And Luna, I would like you to make a d10 roll as well.
Seven.
Okay. It is the middle of the night.
Oh no.
And then it was a percentage. It's a 0% chance versus 100% chance. It is the middle of the night, and there is still no reprieve from the scorching heat. The little candle looks like it is melting a lot faster than it should be with only a small flame atop it. I would love for you to roll a perception check.
Oh no.
It's
I'm actually pretty good at
leopards.
Oh, at least I'm pretty good at perception, but that might not be a good thing in this case. Oh, shit. That's a 4 for a 10.
Okay. In the distance, you hear the light rumbling sound not far from the campsite, and the soft shifting of sand. The flap is left open, so you can see that shadows are moving deep in the darkness beyond the camp. You hear a lulling voice cut through the stagnant air. It sort of sounds like a lullaby tune with no words. Please roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh god. Oh god. Why is it always me, guys? Okay, that was a 13 plus 6 for a 19.
Okay. Okay.
I was like, this is good. We're fine.
Okay. You feel that this lullaby sort of sound is trying to create a sense of calm and unawares over your mind. You feel it start to kind of soak into your brain, but you are so focused that you are not going to be having any encounters with ghost lepers, and you're really holding on to that, like, I'm not this time, it's not going to be this time, that the lullaby has no effect on you. The candle is still melting quite fast, and it is kind of going down to, like, maybe just an inch of wax and this burning flame left.
I am going to cast create bonfire about, like, 10 feet away from the tent between me and these shadows. So, like, a big, like, 5-foot wide bonfire just, like, appears.
Nice. And as you do that, you feel that there's starting to be a crackling flame that is just, like, intensifying the heat around you, amping up the degrees to maybe about, like, 50 degrees Celsius now. It just, like, really amped up the heat, and it's so much more uncomfortable now. But you see deep in the shadows, these sort of, like, shadowy figures start to back away a little bit.
And then basically, since it's a cantrip, I'm just gonna basically, every time the minute ends, I'm just gonna right back up and kind of push it farther out, because I can cast it up to 60 feet away. So I'm just gonna keep pushing it farther every time I cast it to try to, like, push them away from the camp.
Yeah, and sort of as the firelight is blazing, you see these 6 sets of glowing purple eyes glaring at you through the dim darkness. Or through the deep darkness.
The only thing I came to mind was, like, not today, Satan.
Not today, Satan. Are you going to be switching out? Is Benny waking up to do her turn?
I'll kind of, like, as it feels like I've been doing this for so long, like, casting to the point where it's like they're like 60 feet away, because that's as far as I can cast it. I kind of call over my shoulder, Benny, are you awake?
I am now.
Can you come here, please?
Yeah, on
And
my way.
And kind of as Benny opens the tent, I cast create bonfire again.
Oh, I don't love that.
Yeah, it's, I've been keeping them at a distance. But God, I'm getting really tired.
I wonder, can you stay with me for just 1 second? I want to see if this works. And Benny's going to cast her dancing lights, but make them look like little fireballs. And she's going to push them the full 120 feet towards the eyeballs.
Mm-hmm. So as you do that, you push this ghostly light over towards these creatures, and they distinctly sniff at these little glowing lights. And then they just look at you, and you can see sort of their, like, black coats shimmering in this light, and they just kind of circle around it and sniff again, and then they just, like, narrow their eyes at you. And then, Benny, I would like for you to make a wisdom saving throw as you start to hear the lulling voice of a lullaby flow towards you.
Okay.
No, Benny.
I'm in love with this dice tonight. I just rolled another natural 20 for wisdom 23.
Yeah, so...
I'm using them all right now, though. I'm sorry, guys, for later.
So you...
Maybe we won't really need them till next session.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? So you hear the lilting voice start to kind of try to penetrate your mind and lull you into sense of security to follow this beautiful lullaby, but it fails to do so. You can see that the ghost leopards are starting to get very, very agitated and sort of, like, growl on the breeze, or on the lack of breeze. They sort of growl into the night and start to stalk away from the campsite.
Thanks for waking me up, Luna.
And she'll take like the tiny remnants of the candle, dig a little pit in the sand, and then set it there so that she doesn't burn herself as it continues to burn down. And then she's just going to like have her hands at the ready to cast Firebolt if she needs to, and she's just gonna watch for where they're slinking off from.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna be okay? I'll go sleep for a bit.
Yeah. If I'm not, you'll be the first to know.
And she doesn't break contact with like the horizon as she says that.
Right before Luna goes back to the tent, she will cast Create Bonfire one more time, so there's at least like one more minute of the fire there, and then head to go to sleep.
Gorgeous. So the rest of your evening wanes on with very little happening. You're still paying close attention to the horizon, but as the nighttime starts to pass, though it is still in the midst of night, you can hear the Lillivelians to start to rise and start to kind of call out to each other about disassembling the campsite. And Raze comes over to greet you and says, "It is time that we start to head back to the gathering campsite. We must make good time in getting there, as to not be caught in the heat wave that is about to happen."
Absolutely. Do you have to watch out for those things every night?
Unfortunately.
Even in a heat wave?
Oh, absolutely. It's when people's minds are at their most vulnerable.
Is that what that pretty sound was? It was them?
You heard that too?
Of course.
This isn't some big practical joke you're all playing on me. Like, this really happened? You really saw ghost leopards?
Yes, I probably cast Create Bonfire dozens of times to keep them back.
Oh my...
And I tried my dancing lights, and they just sniffed it. It didn't do anything.
It really does have to be fire. Oh, jeez. Remind me to prepare some fire spells next time we have a little snooze.
No need. I think Luna and I have enough of them. And I have some torches in my bag.
I've got more fire spells than I probably should have.
Well, if you're all done worrying about the ghost leopards, we do have to get going.
Right, of course. Lead the way.
Just start packing up your own tent. We have the rest. So you all start beginning to pack up your tent. You see that it looks like this group of people is like so used to doing this. Very methodical. It's done in like 5 minutes. Everything's like packed up and ready to go. And as you're sort of starting to like finish collecting all of your belongings, you see Soul start walking a few feet away over towards sort of like a smaller dune to the left side of you. And you see that they put 2 fingers into their mouth and blow out a very, very sharp whistle. 2 big blows at very high pitch. And then the sand around you starts to shake and shift lightly. All of a sudden, below you emerges 5 huge desert crocodiles, 15 feet long and 4 feet tall. All the Lillivelians start walking up to the creatures and giving them affectionate head pats before they start loading up their gear and mounting these vicious-looking steeds.
Luna's jaw has just like dropped and is just like, What the hell?
Well, who do you want to ride with?
We ride those?
Yes, that's why we're mounted on top of them.
Benny gets like an excited like little wiggle. I'm gonna pick based on name. What are they called?
Oh. Well, this is Fang. This is Tail. This is Scale. And this is Claws.
Oh, then I'm gonna go with Fang.
Okay.
I guess I'll go with Scale.
I'll ride on Claws. I like Claws.
Very well. So you guys all hop up onto these massive crocodiles. The Lillivellians sort of give you all a little hand up because it is quite difficult to sort of clamber on top of a crocodile. And then you start to head towards further west. And as you head towards the gathering campsite, and you're sort of traversing this deserted, desolate landscape, you start to see a few succulents and dead-looking sticks sticking out of the sand, and just sort of like in little cluster pockets just as you sort of go inland. And eventually, as the sun begins to rise very high in the sky, you arrive at the gathering campsite and find that there are countless canvas tents all around. There is a large stone well at the center of the encampment, and there is indeed many vultures flying high in the sky. The Lillivellians sort of help you all off the crocodiles as they're preparing to depart and go about their own business as they've just entered the campsite. They have to check in with the matron and all of that kind of stuff. And you hear Copper say, "Well, good luck to you. If you have time and you should find yourself in the trader's market, I'd highly recommend checking that out. If Lillivel is known for anything other than, heat and sand and nothingness, it's our master leather workers and our glass blowers. You'll find no better quality anywhere else in Concordia."
Thank you, Copper. That's a great recommendation.
You've all been nothing but incredibly kind to us. But is there any way we could find you after we've done our seismic survey and at least let you know the results or pay you back or something?
No need to pay us back, but if you want to hang out with us again, just send a messenger vulture.
Right, just send a messenger vulture. Yeah, of course, yeah. No.
That's the only way to really do it. The landscape is far too big and the camp is far too large.
The matron you mentioned, what side of the camp does she usually set up in? Or is her placement kind of nomadic too?
Oh no, her encampment is always going to be on the farthest west side of this whole encampment. You'll easily find her. Just find the solitary. She's a little bit like 5 feet outside so it doesn't get too crowded for her. She's very busy. So you'll find her out there.
Thank you again.
Good luck to you. And we'll be seeing you.
Hopefully you will.
And you see the crocodiles start to scurry away as they're riding them deeper into the camp, where they have their own tents and residencies.
Once we're alone, Luna will turn to Anu and Benny. I think it'd probably be a good idea to check out that market. And she looks down at her thick sweater and kind of at their clothes that's still quite warm. We might want to maybe get something that's more weather appropriate.
Actually, that's a great idea.
Yeah, we should really be dressing for the weather. Anu's
shedding layers.
Yeah, like ripping.
Ani was layered up at all times. So Ani's like removing like it looks like burlap and then like cloth and like wool and like, but there's still just more and more.
Oh yeah, and you guys would be having like furs and stuff on as well because
Yeah.
you have to like have like intense padding in Philovin. So this is the exact opposite. This is like extreme
You know what
temperature.
else really sucked? Going swimming with our clothes on.
Oh, you dried up so fast. You are completely dry.
Yeah. We would have been like, it'd be like when someone jumps in the water with like a ball gown, but like, we would have been struggling so hard.
Yeah.
I can't help but think, like, especially with furs, we all smell like wet dog.
Oh my god!
Oh no, that's true. No, everybody's
Hey,
been too nice.
They don't know what wet dog smells like.
That's true, yeah, they might not know what a dog is.
They don't know what wet is.
I mean, they do have a well. I established.
they
We're just the stinky foreigners.
Maybe that's why. But maybe that's why if they don't bathe because they don't have water, maybe that's why they didn't say anything. We just smell like we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's sweaty. Like, you can,
Yeah.
it's like...
They're like, oh, these guys over there, they're fitting right in. They smell so bad. It's fantastic.
It's not like there's any wind to carry the
That's true.
scents.
No, it's all so stagnant.
Oh god. All right. So to the market. Clothes shopping sequence.
Clothes shopping sequence activated.
To the market!
So you all start to make your way zigzagging and sort of doing the walking in between the tents until you get to this sort of a little bit more open, almost like circular space that has like an end of the tent sort of has like an opening, and then it's almost like a circular sort of space with a bunch of different smaller, more shallow tents. And then sort of like a passage out with more tents on the other side of this great circle. So it's almost like a cul-de-sac-y kind of thing. And the traders' market is incredibly lively. There is music and chatter. Everyone seems to be in incredibly high spirits despite the heat. People are dancing and cheering and greeting each other after the long 8 months of not being around and not gathering, because everyone, as a nomadic peoples, they all kind of like go off in these small little groupings and then come back to the gathering campsite for the 4 months of summer. Where it's too hot to just be out in the desert alone. But everybody is super happy and greeting each other again. And there are a few street performers as well. There are fire jugglers juggling fireballs and eating flames. And everyone's sort of looking and just really enjoying their time here.
Seeing the fire eaters, Benny kind of like sputters a little bit of fire in her fingers and then looks at it and like tries to figure out how you put that in your mouth without burning yourself. Like,
Anu sees this happening and is like, there's a trick to it. Don't just go putting that in there.
Yeah, you're the one that's supposed to give me first aid for burns, not the other way around.
no, I wasn't gonna, I don't think. But no, I was just, the heat around the fire is a lot. Like, I can't get it close to my face because of the heat. I have no idea how they're doing that.
I mean, they grew up with it. I'm sure if we brought them to Philovin, they'd turn into a popsicle in 30 seconds. But we've developed, we've evolved, we've grown strong against the cold. And they've done the same here, it looks like.
Anywhere you want to check out first? Benny kind of like scans the market.
Yeah, so as you're looking around the market, you can see a bunch of the shallow tents. One place looks to be like a leatherworking shop. Another seems to be a food trader's stall with 2 halflings sort of peddling some of their different goods. There's a bunch of people over there sort of looking through what they've collected. You also see somebody sitting over in a corner blowing a beautiful glass vase. It is like the most purest, clearest glass that you can possibly imagine. It's gorgeous. There's a little rainbow reflective light coming off of it as it's sort of being like done in the sun. And you also see another sort of smaller tent with somebody who has a bunch of different round fruits, who's yelling out, "Cactus juice! Get your cactus juice! There's nobody who wants some cactus juice? It's 45-degree weather. Nobody wants cactus juice? Come and get your cactus juice!"
Maybe, leathers for more appropriate clothes? And then maybe whatever cactus juice is. That sounds awesome.
I'm a little suspicious. If the locals aren't going crazy over the cactus juice, then who is she selling to? I would be wary of the cactus juice.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Maybe. But maybe also they've already had some. We just got here. We don't know. We could keep eyes open.
Well, let's start with clothes so that we are not melting.
My thoughts exactly.
Okay, so you guys start heading over to this leatherworker's tent. You can see that there is a high elf who has a very long thread and very sort of sharp, clunky looking needle start to sort of like put these two pieces of really gorgeous alligator leather together. It looks quite immaculately crafted and is sort of like fitting it to quite exact specifications. And you walk up and he looks at you guys and is like, "Welcome. Welcome and welcome. How may I help you?"
We're looking for some clothes that are perhaps a little bit more climate appropriate. And she kind of gestures to the thick clothing and furs and stuff that she's wearing.
Yes, you look not fit right now for this particular climate. In fact, you look almost drab. Let us fix that for you. And you see this high elf just start to like flit about this little tent in these great big crates and just sort of like rifle through some stuff and shakes out the most gorgeous pair of lavender puff pants made out of exquisite cotton. They're like the harem pants. They look very flowy and nice. It seems to be the fashion of this country. And just sort of like holds it up to you, Luna, and is like, yes, I think so.
Luna like looks at the pants and looks at her skin and is like, "It's not weird that it would match my skin?"
Oh, well, if you're going to complain about it, and he just throws he throws the pants on the ground and goes back and grabs a powder blue one. He's like, "Is this more acceptable to you?"
Yes. The other ones are perfect. I just didn't know if it would be odd.
Odd is what you make it, darling.
And she'll take the powder blue pants that he offers.
And Benny kind of chuckles to herself. Luna, you look naked from a distance.
That's kind of what I was thinking. As I don't want to look like I don't have clothing on.
But with huge legs.
Massive ankle.
I've just really been hitting the leg machines, you know.
The cardio.
I neglect my upper body strength training, but my thighs.
Every day is leg day.
Every day is leg day.
He then goes over and grabs the purple pants again and kind of inspects them and hands them over to Anu. "You know what, though? I think these would be quite nice on you."
I would agree. I was just about to say, Luna, if you weren't going to take them, I'd take them. And now I am taking them.
Yeah, you're welcome to them.
No, thank you very much.
"And for you, dear one." And he kind of like does little jazz hand fingers as he's looking at you.
Benny, like, clasps her hands together and has, like, big sparkly eyes, like, oh, what for me?
For you, I think lime green. And he goes and, like, runs over to his crate and picks out these really nice lime green ones and is, like, flattening them out and does the, like, little, like, almost tablecloth flick and shows them up to you.
Benny doesn't take her eyes from the pants once. They're the prettiest things she's ever seen.
Wow. And you think that I could wear something so beautiful?
Honey, they were made for you.
Really?
And Benny will, like, reach her hands out to grasp the pants.
Now for tops. I'm thinking perhaps snake? Or no. Perhaps we should do cheetah. No, that doesn't make any sense. Perhaps we should do... No, that also wouldn't make any sense. I was gonna say buffalo, that's not in season. How about... Oh, gazelle. Yes, that sounds right. And he goes and he's like, gazelle for you. And he gives that to Benny. As a delicate creature as you are. And then for you... And he kind of looks at Luna like, For you, I think... desert cat. And he goes and takes out these... and all of the shirts are sort of this, like, leather lace-up, tank top style sort of top. Not quite a corset, but, like, has that sort of style of one. And goes and grabs you this, like, tan-looking, nice lace-up shirt. And just, like, hands it to you, Luna. And then, for you, mysterious one, I think. How about... Yes, I think so. Let us do some... ghost leopard. What do you think?
You can skin those things?
Yes, once you kill them, they stop being smoky.
Oh.
But you have to be careful, because they'll either disappear into nothingness and smoke, or they will drop and we can use them as clothes. They're very rare, so this is going to be quite expensive, but I think you can handle it. And he goes and he grabs this, like, jet black... this, like, jet black, shirt for you, Anu, and just sort of, like, places it down on top of your lavender, pants. It's like...
You know what? I'm flattered. I think I'll just go without the shirt.
You're going to be topless in the desert. Are you asking for sunburns?
All right. I'll take the ghost then.
I think so. It completes the ensemble.
I love this guy.
Also, actually, I've just realized none of you have shoulder coverings. So, how about I just had this imported from the silkworms of Lapis in Ivrail. I don't know if you've been. It's quite nice there. Sometimes Reprieve, you know, we don't really do trades, but just this once I was lucky enough to go there. And I got the most wonderful silk. And he pulls out all of these, like, really beautiful, almost like rainbow moonstone colored silk shawls, and he gives each of you one of them.
Wow. Thank you.
Oh, my darlings, no problem. You absolutely needed to have all of these things.
You're truly too kind.
I've only been told that 367 times.
Well, was that 367 or was that 368?
68.
Ah, well. Well, I hope sincerely that you reach 400 by the end of the week.
Oh, I intend to, darling. Now, we haven't discussed the subject of payment.
Right, of course.
I simply require 40 gold.
Each? Or in total?
That depends. Do you also have some juicy gossip from around the desert? I haven't gotten to mingle just yet. And he kind of, peeks out of his tent and looks around at all the people who are shopping.
I heard there was a military coup.
A military coup? Where?
Passed beyond the sands.
Beyond the sands.
A queen was slain.
A queen!
Yes, regicide.
Regicide?
Military coup. The liberation of the people. The will they succeed? Won't they succeed? What does the future hold?
How incredibly enticing!
I know, and vague enough that you could pass it on and no one could verify your information.
What was that last bit you just said?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, alright, just 40 in total then. That was good gossip.
Okay, Anu has 20 gold.
I have 10.
You guys got those gemstones as well from the treasure.
Pearls and stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Because I have it written down here that Benny has 24 gold pieces in total.
You can haggle. You can try to barter.
What do you say instead of 40? Because that was some really good gossip that we just gave you. 10 gold apiece.
So 30 in total.
Yes.
Oh, alright. Roll me a persuasion.
Oh, goodness. Oh, no. Well, that's gonna be a 7.
You know, that ghost leopard, that leather was really hard to come by. Plus, that's rainbow moonstone silkworm silk.
I saw 6 ghost leopards last night.
We did see quite a lot of them.
Did you kill any to exchange for more material for these materials? Perhaps you could trade with me some of the leather that you undoubtedly acquired when you fought and slain them?
Unfortunately, we don't have that.
They vanished into smoke, as they often do.
Yes.
But I do have, and Benny, removes her cloak, this very extravagant fur-lined cloak from the north in Philovin.
From the north in Philovin? How exotic!
And she ruffles the cloak to make it look like it's rippling.
It's very exotic and quite rare, even by Philovin standards.
Roll me also a persuasion check.
7, 18.
All right. Because it is so exotic, I will take the 30 gold and the cloak.
Hang on now, 30 gold and the cloak. The cloak is worth at least 20 on its own.
Is it?
How's about 15 gold in the cloak?
How's about 20 in the cloak?
I could do 16.
18.
And I'll throw in this dagger, and I pull out the dagger that we got when we were in air and show it off.
And a dagger.
16. Final offer.
16.
$16 cloak and dagger.
16 plus the dagger and the cloak.
Yes.
Very well. I accept. And he takes all of these goodies and puts them all into a chest behind his little workshop table that he set up.
But does he also put the gold in there?
No, he puts the gold into a little pouch that he has hanging from his belt.
Okay. I thought if he left it on the counter to put the cloak in the chest. I was ready to make a break for it. My legs were game to get going.
Not quite. Pleasure doing business with you all.
Do you perhaps have a place that we can change?
Oh, of course. Actually, I have a tent just behind this tent that is a changing tent. Feel free to... Oh?
Just before we get changed, while we still have you, should we try the cactus juice?
Oh, yes.
Oh. Well, it's definitely an acquired taste. But I enjoy it.
Any adverse effects we should be worried about? Or is it, like, just juice?
What do you mean, adverse effects?
I don't know, does it flip you upside down? Do you walk on your head? Does it turn you invisible? Do you wake up 5 days later somewhere random?
Dear sweet child, it is simply juice, if that is what you're asking, if it's going to cause physiological responses.
The only physiological response I want from my juice is the need to answer nature's call.
Well, that, and also the hydration cycle of your body, which is super important in this climate.
So it sounds like it's a go, guys.
Okay, we will try the cactus juice before we leave the market.
Wonderful.
We can't leave without saying we have, right?
No, truly.
Right.
Now, Toodaloo, run along.
Benny will go into the clothing tent to get changed, and all that's going through her head, her internal monologue is like,
Dad is gonna be so mad I gave that away.
just thinking about her cloak and Rose's reaction to her giving away her stuff needlessly.
Well, I mean, we likely won't need it when we get back to Phylevin. If what was happening right before we left was any indication, it's been a while now, so might be too hot there for a cloak as well.
That's true. Okay, time to get changed.
Yeah, so you guys all get changed, and then exit back towards the market center. It's still very lively, lots of stuff going on.
Right, this is much better. I am no longer soaking wet, just mildly damp.
So much better.
Cactus juice, anyone?
Cactus juice.
Yeah, so you start heading over to this little cactus juice stand. You see this Yanti just yelling out, "Get your cactus juice! It's the quenchiest! Nobody wants any more cactus juice? It's so good for... Come and get your cactus juice. Y'all need it. Stay hydrated."
We'll take 3 cactus juice, please.
That's a good choice. Welcome to Cactus Juice. It's the only place to get cactus juice in the market. I hope you enjoy the cactus juice. And you can just see that the cactus juice is literally just like half of a chopped in half succulent that is like a pot of just this like milky looking liquid that's like slightly clear. And it's like, you can see that all of the prickles have been removed and like sort of sawed down so you can like hold this piece of cactus to drink the juice.
That's awesome. Anu chugs it straight back.
Oh god.
You drink
And
it.
just goes, oh.
You drink it, and you just feel like this is so refreshing. Like, why is this not more popular everywhere? Like, this is delicious.
Luna follows suit and just drains it.
This episode is cactus juice propaganda. I'm gonna go buy a cactus, and I'm gonna cut into it and try to drink its juice, and I'm gonna like, go and like spit it out everywhere.
This is cactus juice propaganda. It's so good though. Like, it feels like your body has just like instantaneously re-evaporated. I don't know, whatever it is. Rehydrated like everything. Like, it just, all of the liquid that was supposed to be in your body is back in your body that you sweated out when you were walking.
Your body's re-evaporated. That's the physiological effect he didn't warn us about.
Yeah, you've just re-evaporated everything.
We just disappear into the atmosphere.
Oh wait, no. What is the cycle of hydrate? Like,
It's like the other way around.
Evaporation.
It's
Yeah,
condensation, evaporation, and down. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rain.
Anyways.
And then it rains.
Yeah, and then
So-
it rains.
I was picturing it the other way, just hearing you say re-evaporation. I was picturing like any moisture within the air just starts coming back to us like magma.
We're on evaporation.
Anyways,
Reverses the process. So after Luna drains it and like realizes how good it is, she's gonna look at this thing that somewhat looks like a fruit, and she's gonna nibble on the cactus cup.
okay. So you start nibbling on the cactus cup, and you start to feel like, ooh, this really doesn't taste good. This is bitter as shit, and it's really like, ooh, why did this does not feel like it came out of that juice?
She kind of like does the thing where like when you taste something weird and you like stick your tongue out and you're like kind of like bleh, 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 and I don't know how something so delicious is in something that tastes so terrible.
It's a metaphor, really. Sometimes the people that are the most bitter on the outside, the most they put up spikes to stop people from getting to their center. Sometimes they are truly the softest and most hydrating of all.
Very, very well said, Anu.
One more cactus juice, please.
Benny then looks
Yes.
between the two of them and drinks hers.
I will also take another, please.
Here's your cactus juice. Take your cactus juice.
Thank you for the cactus juice. Do you know where we can find the matron?
Oh, yeah, Aramina's just on the furthest western side of this whole campsite.
And about how far a walk would you say? We're from Philoven. People talk about distance in minutes.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. We do that here, too. So, I think it's about, like, 10, 15, depends on if you take any more stops, but if you're walking at a brisk pace, probably only take you, I don't know, 8 at the very least. That's if you're at a brisk pace.
Okay, I was worried it was going to be much longer. Thank you so much for your help.
Oh, no worries. Do you want another cactus juice for the road?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Take your cactus juice.
Just like
And
double
just-
fisting it. Like, one in each hand.
Benny has one cactus, but then she realizes that she's starving. So she's gonna, what should I eat that goes nice with this? And she points very emphatically at the cactus.
Oh, well, if you're looking for something delicious, Hestia and Horace, the two halflings over there at the food stall, they got some rattlesnake jerky, they got some grilled scorpions, they got some salted buffalo steaks, they also have some Hansa berries, they also got some dragon fruit, but don't tell the dragonborns because it's funny that way. But it doesn't have anything to do with actual dragons. It's just a fruit. Don't worry about that. And then there's also some horned cucumber. There's also some cool spices. You know, there's lots of stuff over there. Hestia and Horace, they got you going.
Benny, do you want to go there first before we go see the matron?
Yes, please.
And if I can only eat one stew while I'm here, the best local stew.
Local stew?
You know, like a stew.
Oh, well, we don't got no tavern food because we don't have any taverns, so we don't really got any stew. We just got kebabs and stick food. Because, you know, we can't have taverns if we can't have alcohol. We can't have alcohol because we'll get dehydrated, so we don't do any of that over here. We just have cactus juice.
I guess this is my stew. And Anu kind of looks forlornly into the cactus juice vessel, the cactus.
Luna like puts a hand on her shoulder and is like, "It's okay. It's okay."
Right, let's just go see the matron. Get out of here. I don't like this place.
Food for Benny first. So let's head over to Hestia's.
All right, yeah, we'll go to Hestia's.
So you guys walk over to Hestia and Horace's tent. These two halflings are just sort of flitting about. This is one of the most popular stalls right now. And you can just see like a charcoal pit on the ground, sort of like dug out in sand, and these just kebabs and all of these different things are just like grilling right now in this little pit. And you can see that like the little male halfling is sort of like doing all the cooking, and then the female halfling is sort of like dealing with all the customers, packaging up all these different spices and fruits and stuff in these little sort of like knit like crocheted bags of like really thick white cotton yarn.
Wiggle her way to the front and like do a little wave like she's ready to order.
Oh, hello there. What could I grab for you?
Hi, could I have 3 kebabs, some of the jerky I heard about, and whatever you have for spices.
Okay. You want buffalo steak, or did you want some grilled scorpions? And then I definitely have some rattlesnake jerky that'll knock your not quite socks off.
Buffalo steak sounds great.
Absolutely. And you can see her turn around and be like, Horace, 3 buffalo steaks, stat! Can I get anything else for you?
Just any of the local spices that you think would be good for me to bring home.
All right, sounds good. And you can see her start to pack up quite a large, like, little, what are they called? Like a metal box sort of thing with, like, a claspy lid on hinges.
Take a box.
No, it's like a, well, I guess, yeah, like a medieval takeout box. And you see her hand you these 2 iron boxes, and then a tiny, like, circular glass, beautifully blown glass little jar with a lid, and you can see that there is a red sort of like paste substance inside of it.
Wow, looking at the little glass vessel. What is this one for?
That one is called chili paste.
And she'll pull the lid off and smell it.
It smells really strong and spicy, and it almost makes your eyes water.
That will be incredible. Thank you.
No problem. And you can see that Horace starts to bring over these 3 kebabs and a small bag of rattlesnake jerky.
How much do I owe you?
Let's say 5 gold.
Okay. Benny fishes out her 5 gold and hands it over.
Pleasure doing business. The other 2 are turmeric and saffron, just so you know.
Oh, thank you. I almost forgot to ask. And then Benny kind of tucks them in her satchel and then emphatically turns around. Anu, if you put this skewer in your coconut juice, it will kind of be like stew.
It definitely could be. You're so right, Benny. Let me try that. And Anu's gonna tentatively dip the skewer into the cactus juice and start like stirring it around to mix in the spices.
You know what? It tastes kind of good. You're like, this is as close to stew as I'll get, and it's not bad. I don't mind.
And suddenly I found the strength to carry on.
Awesome. Did you guys want to check out any of the other stalls, or were you ready to head to Aramina's tent?
Think head on over.
Yeah, Benny will hand the 3rd skewer to Luna, and then be like,
To the matron.
So as you were instructed, Aramina's tent dwells within the furthest part of this campsite, to the west. So as you walk and you get closer, you see a large canvas tent, with the entrance flap secured open. You can see someone inside sitting on a backless chair, looking over some papers, with a piece of charcoal in her hand. She seems to be making notes as she reads. There is little finery in the tent, save for a small cot made out of canvas and wood that is elevated 1.5 feet off the ground. A small stool that looks like it is being used as a table with a unlit candle resting on top of it, and a gorgeous-looking red rug embroidered with gold thread depicting the scene of a woman engaging in battle against a great white wolf. As you start to approach and get close to the entrance, you see this dark red, almost the color of dried blood tiefling with half-shaved head, with a short ponytail of deep dark brown, wearing a snake skin vest and flowing silk cream pants and leather boots, with 2 thick-looking daggers strapped on a belt around her waist, look up at you with inquisiting eyes that are quite soft and kind, and say, "Yes?"
Are you Eramina?
"I am indeed. What can I do for you?"
Well, I'm Luna. This is Anu, and I point him, and this is Benny. Have you by chance had an earthquake around here recently?
You see her with a contemplative look on her face, as she replies, "Actually, yes. About 5 months past. I had my scouts going out just around the sand dunes, and there actually was something weird that happened at that time. There was sort of a shift in the sand, and from it emerged a temple. And it was kind of like quicksand that was leaving around this great mound. And then it just sort of sank and revealed this great stone temple. I ordered an investigation and found that there was a sort of an ancient chamber in there. Nothing much of interest save for some old wood and glass."
Well, that actually has been happening everywhere. An earthquake that reveals a temple of sorts.
Intriguing. Do you know something more about these things than perhaps my scouts would have?
I look at my companions and do another, should we... these people seem a lot more normal.
We've been investigating these sort of sites that have been opening up to try and find what's causing the seismic events and if we can prevent the occurrence of future ones. So we would like to take a look for ourselves if you would be willing to allow us to.
It's no concern of mine what you want to do within my territory, as long as you're not messing around with my people.
No, we're much more interested in the what's under the sand.
Sure. It's not like there's much left there anyways. We did loot quite a lot. I mean, although the wood and glass, it's valuable resources that we needed to acquire.
Would you allow us to look over what you took from the temple? Not to keep or anything, just to observe.
I mean, you'll have to go and talk to the glass blower, because that's where the glass went to be remelted down and transformed into other things. And then there is the woodworker who actually recently left, still yet to come back. There was a couple more things that he needed to do in particular before coming to base camp for the rest of the 4-month summer. It'll sort of depend on how much time you want to wait. The glass would have already been melted down long ago now. This was 5 months ago, you realize.
Right, of course.
She sort of puts down her papers on that little stool and puts her forearm on her knee and leans forward a little bit with her other hand on her hip. Is there something in particular you're looking for within the artifacts of the temple? And she kind of looks at you as if discerning that there's more.
Based on our previous interactions, there had been tapestry or like paintings that indicate a secondary location that also is relevant. So we were hoping that if there was something like that in the temple, it could give us a greater idea of what was going on in the area as a whole.
Oh yeah, there was absolutely a mural, but it was little interest to us. Pretty, but nothing spectacular.
And is that still up in the temple?
Of course, we only took what we actually needed.
Were there any journals or notebooks there?
There was some paper, but was little interest to us. We didn't touch those things. Again, my people are resource-oriented. We didn't take anything that wasn't going to be utterly necessary.
Of course. I just would hate to waste anyone's time. So it's best to suss out as many details as we can now.
What is your ultimate goal in researching these things?
What do you know about the elements?
Those are more of folk tales than even our ghost leopards. Those are the fairy tales. The elements don't really exist. They just are old stories that people like to pass down.
Right, well, if we said we could prove you wrong, would that interest you?
You can try. I'm not one
All
for fairy tales, though.
Me neither. Like I said, I'm much more interested in the fairy teeth.
The fairy teeth.
Well, I mean, if that's what the tale is, you gotta imagine what the teeth are like.
It's an interesting ponderance. Well, you've piqued my interest. Prove to me that the element of fire is real.
Which way to the temple, so that we can start working on that for you?
It's up further north. Perhaps half a day's walk or so. 12 hours.
Oh goodness. Is there anywhere we could hire crocodiles? Like the ones that brought us in?
Oh, you need some crocodiles. Well, I suppose I could lend you, but how about we place a wager? If you can prove to me that the elements are real, I will give you my fastest crocodile that will take you basically wherever you want to go. Just one, though. We're short. And if you can't, you will owe me a favor that I will call upon you whenever I so choose.
Right, well, you see, to get there is what we'll need the crocodile for. So you understand the dilemma.
I can temporarily lend you Spear. But you will have to return him if you can't prove to me that the elements exist.
Well, are we up to the challenge? Anu sort of looks at Benny and Luna.
Let's do it.
Good luck. I can think of a lot of favors that would be useful, especially from foreigners. And you see her get up, saunter out of her tent, walk a few paces away to more of a sandy area, puts the 2 fingers in her mouth and does 2 sharp whistle blows. And you can see this great crocodile emerge from the sand. It is huge. The other ones were big. This one is like 20 feet long, 6 feet high. It has to literally like bend down for you to be able to crawl on its back. It looks like it has the strongest jaw you've ever seen and is quite fearsome. Spear will take you where you need to go. Enjoy him for this one time because you won't be getting more.
Penny gets like visually excited. Oh, this is so cool.
Hello, Spear.
And she does like a tiny little half bow before attempting to scramble up the creature.
Spear makes a little like clicking sound in the back of his throat, like a greeting almost. It's not like a malicious sort of sound, it's sort of like a hi. So you all scramble up on top of Spear, and you begin to head north towards what Aramina described as a ruined temple. It takes you about half the amount of time. Spear is just like booking it, almost like swimming through the sand. You're going so fast that you do actually feel a breeze on your face for the first time, which is actually quite nice. Though it's still hot air, it feels like your hair is kind of blowing back behind you as you're going through the sands. And as you reach this temple, you can see that it looks like it is half ruined, and there is a very large crest with the symbol for fire displayed just above the entrance of the doors that have been broken open. The temple is made out of white glittering marble that looks like a white flame dancing in the sunlight. It is almost too hard to look at how bright it's glimmering.
As we approach, the temple, Luna's gonna kind of be fiddling with her necklace that has the symbol of fire as she, looks up at the temple.
Wow.
Shall we? There's probably the mural in there like the others.
Let's take a look and figure this out.
Yeah, so you all dismount Spear and start heading towards the rundown looking temple. The sand feels quite squishy beneath your feet and is still swelteringly hot through your boots. And as you enter the old acolyte chamber, you find that it looks slightly more grand than those that you've been to before, though the ceiling has been half destroyed, so lots of sunlight is still peering down from above. And it is exposing you to the sweltering heat, so there's still no reprieve in this land. And you can also feel that this place has a much grander presence, that it once was probably a magnificent space that many people came to enjoy and work at and just admire at how gorgeously it was built. It is all the more disheartening, though, to see that everything has been looted. Books and papers litter the stone floor, yet the mural on the wall is still vibrant, though the colors are muted and faded from sun exposure. And you can see on the wall that it depicts a beautiful beachscape dotted with tropical-looking trees that host brown, round fruit. There is a mountain shining in the distance as well, and the land looks that it was once beautiful and peaceful, a harsh contrast to what it is now.
Can I, take a look through, some of the papers and books and see if I can find anything?
Absolutely, please roll an investigation.
Investigation. Nat 20 for a 22.
Wow, okay, amazing.
I'm so good at lore drops, just not constitution check.
Oh no. Okay, yes. So as you're sort of looking and sifting through the papers, you can see that they've all been trampled on. There is a large covering of sand dust all over the floor. It does not look like the people who were sort of scavenging through this place were very careful with these old materials. They just sort of took what they needed to and left the place just in complete disrepair. There was very little respect for the space itself, which is sort of evident by the fact that all of these people don't really believe that the spirits were actually real and that they existed. This sort of like is like old fairy tales from ancient history, which is continued through their time now, and how they talk about the spirits is very much that it's like old wives' tales and stories to make children behave sort of things. So as you're sort of sifting through what the scattered papers and books on the floor, on the floors is, though all of the texts in the books seem to be faded and ripped and illegible, one of the journals seems to contain an old letter that has been surprisingly well preserved, and it reads, "My dear Nerissa, there is a plot. We must protect the new Spirit of Harmony's High Priestess. We will gather. We will fight. This chaos will not stand. We must meet at the Grand Temple in Darborough and make our stand. Once Serenity is anointed, there will be no hope for unrest. Be on your guard. I suspect we have a traitor amongst us. Always yours, Carpathia."
Anu, Benny, come look at this. And I wave them over and hold out the letter.
Wow. They had a feeling something was going to happen.
Do you remember the vision? The shadowy thing went up to a temple and attacked someone. Maybe that is what they were talking about in this letter, fearing that would happen.
Maybe that was Serenity then.
And you think Chaos or its agent or whatever that thing is attacked here? And maybe even every other temple as well.
I'm wondering if by killing the Spirit of Harmony, or the person who was the Spirit of Harmony, if that was what enabled Chaos or its agent to lock up the elements.
If we're to believe this letter, the traitor themselves might have been from here. Among us, like in Lillivel.
You're saying it could have all started here?
Perhaps. I'm gonna keep this letter and talk to Eremina. Maybe they might have histories of either this Nerissa or Carpathia or Serenity.
I don't know that nomadic peoples carry much in the way of written histories, but they might have some information that's been passed down.
Yeah, maybe verbal knowledge. I'm still gonna hold on to this, and I put the letter in my bag.
Is there anything else you want to look at within the temple?
Well, we need to figure out where we need to go, so I'm gonna go look at the mural more up close.
Yeah, so you see that it looks like a beautiful beachscape. So you assume from this depiction that this is probably closer to, like, the edge of the country, closer to where, like, the continent ends. So further out to where, like, the expanse of ocean would be off of this landmass. It looks like the mountain is sort of a little bit more inland from the beach, and it just like, yeah, like it looks sort of like it would be like the edge of the continent.
So this is clearly near the ocean, but we just came in that way and we didn't see anything strange, so where should we head?
We could try walking the coast, or riding the coast rather.
You're right. We do have, at least for now, a spear at our disposal. We could head in that direction if we don't find anything obvious about the tower. I mean, temple.
I think that sounds like a good bet. Anybody happen to see a map as they were looking around the room?
You always take another look.
I would like to look for a map.
Roll an investigation.
May I assist?
Yeah, either one with advantage or both by yourselves.
Please roll with advantage. I have a +0 to investigation.
Okay. That was 2 natural 19s. I'm not even kidding.
Oh! Pew, 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 pew.
So that's gonna be a 21. That was what are these dice normally hate me. Oh
Today's just been super good for your dice today.
Like I said, I'm really good at lore drops and things like that. But if you're trying to make me not die, then
But you
They're
also
your
really
exposition
did.
dice.
Yeah, they're exposition dice. But you did so good with like evading the ghost leopards. Like I had a whole combat sequence that was gonna happen. Like it was gonna be really cool, and you guys completely missed it and fucked it up. This is the like equivalent to like in like Island when we defeated Ashley's dog super fast. Like we just skipped over my
one round of
dogs.
combat. Yeah, there was one round of combat in Island. It was supposed to be a huge, intimidating encounter, and Ashley went and rebalanced, I think, like most of the encounters that were coming up because she was like, no.
I think it's because for druids, like wisdom is one of their high things. So that's like I'm pretty good at those. I just don't have a great con or dex.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so fun.
All right. So natural 19. Is there a map in this temple?
You know what? There is. You find a complete and incredibly well-preserved map, which I will send to you in chat, that has the entire, like, ancient sort of, like, landscape of this continent with all of the different countries. You can see that, like, Philovin is right there at the top. You can see, Smecklin over to the east. You can see Ivriel to the south, and you can see, Lilivel to the west, and then right in the center, sort of, like, circled by all of these other countries, you see Darborough, the great capital of this continent, and it looks like that's sort of like the powerhouse of this whole continent. Yes.
So Luna's like digging through papers and stuff, and Anu and Benny just hear her go, "Ah!" And she turns around, like hands straight up in the air, huge smile on her face, holding a whole map.
Finally, somewhere.
And she sets it down so they can look at it to figure out which way to go.
Oh my gosh. Luna, this is amazing.
This is the most detailed map of the continent I've ever seen.
Yeah, you can see, like, all of the details in terms of, like, the landscape, and yeah, like, all of the different, like, ancient lakes that were there, and the different, like, places, that used to exist. It's really well, calligraphy written, like, gorgeous little map.
I look on the map to kind of find like a temple-like thing like we're in, and then kind of look at the coasts of Lilivel to see if there's an area that looks like it might be where the mural is.
Yeah, definitely it looks like it's over to the western border, just at the end of the continent. So it kind of looks like this was almost a coastal city. Like if there was any like intercontinental trade or anything sort of like that would be import-export or just reception of guests from other places in this globe, that this is sort of like the place that they would have come to.
Okay, so it looks like we're here right now. Looks like we're right here. I think we just basically need to go directly west.
Looks pretty straightforward.
Right, well, shall we go meet Spear outside?
I think That sounds good.
And do we want to try to camp here? Because I honestly have no idea how to gauge how long this will take.
Oh, fair. Do you think we have to feed Spear? I only have a little bit of rattlesnake jerky.
You know what? Hold on 1 second. And Luna's gonna run outside and cast Speak with Animals.
Awesome. You do. Are you guys all going outside together, or is it just Luna?
You're welcome to follow.
Benny would definitely follow.
Is Anu going too?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome. So you guys all are starting so excitedly to run up to Spear, and as you exit the temple and you start to walk back to where Spear is sort of like lounging in the sun, you begin to feel like you're walking through like mud, sort of. Like the sand just starts to feel really squishy and soft under your feet, and you begin to sink. And every step you take, you just sort of start to sink deeper and deeper, and you're caught in this sinking pit of quicksand, and you're starting to be dragged down into the desert itself. And that's where we're going to end the episode for today.
Oh my god.